The topic that I wanted to touch on at this time is the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. We have been aware for some time through the various bits and pieces of information that I have disseminated through other video clips that we are dealing, when we deal with the very beginning of Genesis, with the Anunnaki arrival on Earth. The Anunnaki came from the planet Nibiru, and we describe that more fully in other clips. But what I wanted to focus on is this issue of the tree of life and the tree of good and evil. I actually had no idea when this was a topic that was proposed to me exactly what I would encounter. So what I did is I went to the libraries of Isis. The book, Opening the Doors of Heaven, is the translation of the revelations of Isis, one set of plates and another portion of a page of another set of plates that I translated from the libraries of Isis. The Astrology of Isis website that we have is also a translation from the Isis libraries about the astrology there. So for me to understand anything about this, I had to actually go back into the libraries, and what I do, my brothers and sisters, is I can draw up the glyphs, as you've seen both on the website and in the book itself, Opening the Doors of Heaven, that I give the glyphs, then I give the language, then I give the translation. So now, having focused in on a specific set of plates, I can pull the glyphs up in front of my face, I can read the glyphs in Isis's language, and then I can translate it for us, because up until this point, I don't know what those things are. I have assumed that they are trees. In fact, I will tell you that I have assumed that the tree of life is possibly a tree that was transplanted to Earth from Nibiru. And Nibiru has a much, much longer lifespan. And so if they transplanted a tree here that would bear fruit and one ate it, I assumed that it could prolong your lifespan and therefore become the tree of life. That's just what I thought. I have no idea what the other one meant, but now I will translate the glyphs and we will find out exactly what it is. Ki ashitach na erek basta uknita ivesh buuluk erek net ve iskra hirish pavi elech ustava hekrut akne ishkachna vaba ete eknes urachna asachkeva baukne ve ekiach nun harzva peshkle eske ekia uch navach kavai bechkiana a pikiech navauka ekle ekiarna was batre mish pachnava utaikinech bikla uraknava setne veresh ustrava minuher klatnat viresut navet prautu klereshnava. What this is saying is that in southern Africa, the Adam and the Eve were formed, that they were the first hybrids to be formed between an indigenous race that existed already within Africa and the Anunnaki that came. It was many attempts later that the hybrid race was formed, and Adam and Eve were half brother and sister of this hybrid connection. The facilities to create the hybrid beings were in southern Africa. There was a laboratory near the area of the Great Falls, which I presume is Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe. There was equipment to activate DNA components. Nichbark barush ekleherech vastrak en ushkla rava perek ustranach vi barash aklatna virach vavi histra ushvelechvis skle urnachva ske eshkle arak namispava pi uklatba baravatvi erestruchna setve eklesh. It is saying that there were devices used that would activate specific components in the DNA. And it was so that they did not want them to have intelligence. Intelligence is that which gives the ability to know right from wrong, good from bad, what is life-enhancing and what is not, the only choice in existence. And that, in fact, they wanted them to have only instinctual mind, because that's what they encountered in the race they found in Africa. Mirak ba eske ishkle echve arian bishpa ukne veles vispi pel ustra vaharach bastu nin pashparach esklet ver ishkra verespa klanach vishpave. She is saying that Arian, which is Orion, it literally means lords of the heavens. Orion was the ones that created with humanity a hybrid, which became our Neanderthal-like man. At the time these beings were created in Africa, the rest of humanity had retreated to the inner earth because of very severe and harsh weather conditions. So humanity went to the hollow earth, to the inner earth. The only people on the outside of the earth when the Anunnaki arrived were the hybrids. And it is this hybrid race that the Anunnaki coupled with to create Adam and Eve. And so they wanted them to retain their original intuitive, instinctual mind that they had. They did not have separated ego identification and intelligence. Piachkuna shvarak este, vishba kla urachnasta, kishva stava. Eve was the first to be formed. She waited anxiously as Adam was prepared for her to mate with. She got to understand how to use some of the equipment as she sat through many months waiting and watching. She saw that there was equipment that could stimulate what the overlords or the lords, the Anunnaki, had. Piruk astarak nasdech bilesh bavrechbi spauruk min har plauvet peresh uskla irnat ve klahuruk brastach ve eshkle erek ne etrerek pasuch min haret plat ve klua heresh pavi. She used that machine on herself in order to gain the knowledge of good and evil when no one was there. She then used the same machine on the one known as Adam, and they had intelligence. This activating of the DNA strands components is the tree of knowledge of good and evil.